This and Patriots beat reporter Dakota Randall now joins me as we get ready for Patriots-Bills round 3 of this season. Of course, the Bills will be the home team this Saturday night hosting the Pats. Last time these two teams met, well, Buffalo just had their way at Gillette. Dakota, for a Patriots team that we saw with a 7-game win streak at one point this season and then lose 3 out of their last 4 to close out the regular season, which one do you think we'll see this Saturday night in Buffalo?
Well, I don't want this to sound like a cop-out answer, and I wish I could give you a better answer, but I just don't know which Patriots team that we're going to get this weekend, and I think that's an indictment on them. Are we going to get the team that played fundamentally sound football in all 3 phases during the 7-game winning streak? Are we going to get the team that couldn't get out of its own way over the last month? I don't really know, and honestly, listening to the players this week after the Dolphins loss and really over the past few weeks, I don't know if they know either, and so that's concerning.
Patriots are -6 in the turnover category in 3 of their last 4 losses. Also outscored by 31 points by their opponents. Now, a big factor in this game, of course, will be the offensive line for the Pats, as it is every week, but for their run game and, of course, protecting Mac Jones. His blind side, Isaiah Wynn, he's up in the air right now, his status for Saturday, dealing with hip and ankle injuries. If Isaiah Wynn can't go, how do you see the shuffle up front going for the Pats, and how could this affect the game as well?
To be completely honest, I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I just don't think Isaiah Wynn's been very good this season. He's had some good games. He's, I guess, on the whole, been better than not. He hasn't been terrible, but he just hasn't been very good. And I think Justin Herron, when he slid over there during the Dolphins game last weekend, I think he played pretty well in a pinch, and I think he's played well given his opportunities this season. So I think if Isaiah Wynn's unable to go, I really just don't think it's that big of a deal for the Patriots. I'm more concerned about whether Kyle Duggar, who didn't play against the Dolphins, is able to go, and how Christian Barmore looks after suffering what initially looked like a serious knee injury. Now looks like he's on track to play, but still, if he's limited in any way, that significantly hurts the Patriots pass rush, which they're going to need in this game. But going back to Isaiah Wynn, I really don't think it's a big deal. I think Herron can fill in and do just fine.
Now, of course, the Pats, for their offensive line, playing well. For the Bills, just playing physical as well, with Josh Allen running the ball, passing the ball. So you're right there. Defensive line, offensive line, all important. Now, a big factor in this game, outside of the players that are up in the air with their statuses, is actually the weather. I mean, first time we saw these two teams meet, it was fitting. It was like a hurricane at Monday Night Football in Buffalo. Second time in Gillette, somewhat normal. This Saturday night, looking like it'll be a low of -1 degrees for now. We know the weather in Buffalo could change all the time. But do you see that having an effect at all on the game?
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, when the Bills and Patriots kick off, like you said, it could be around -1, and with the wind chill, could feel around -7. I looked into it. It's actually going to be maybe only a couple degrees cooler in the South Pole, like in Antarctica, at the time of the kickoff. So that's going to be pretty cold for the Patriots and Bills this weekend. I think it's a big factor, really, for both teams. For the Bills, we've seen it a lot this week. It's been a talking point. Josh Allen has not played well in the cold. He's 3-2 in games where the kickoff was at freezing or below. He's 3-2 with 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, only 6.0 yards per attempt, and a 50% completion percentage. So that's not very good. However, at the very least, he has more experience playing in these conditions in this cold weather than Mac Jones, who grew up in Florida and played in the SEC, and who, in the limited opportunities he's had in the cold this season, he either didn't look very good, or in the case of the first Bills game, the Patriots totally avoided him. So it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out. I think it might help the Patriots in the sense that they need all the help they can get in slowing down the Bills' offense. But ultimately, I like the Bills and Josh Allen's chances of overcoming the elements and putting points on the board more than I do Mac Jones and the Patriots. So ultimately, I think the forecast this time around benefits Buffalo.
Of course, Josh Allen, you mentioned the two quarterbacks. This will be Josh Allen's 5th playoff start of his career. It'll be Mac Jones' first NFL postseason game. For Allen, obviously the leading passer, but when they made their run to the AFC Championship game before they lost to the Chiefs last season, Allen led the team in rushing 2 out of those 3 games. For Mac Jones, we'll see how he does. He's had that rookie look. He's made those rookie mistakes as of late. Out of those 2 quarterbacks, which one do you think will play better Saturday night?
Well, I think you have to go with Josh Allen here. I think if you go with Mac Jones, you're kind of wishing at that point, because I don't think he played well at all over the past month. I think his play has really significantly declined over the last 4 weeks, really since the bye week. And honestly, going back to before that, I don't think he was good against the Titans. He obviously didn't do anything against the Bills. So it's been a bit of a regression for him. And Josh Allen, he hasn't been great in the postseason. We talked about the cold weather, but ultimately, this is a better quarterback than Mac Jones. That's not a knock on Mac Jones. He's a rookie. This is his first crack at the playoffs. So I think you have to believe that Josh Allen will have a better game this weekend. But that doesn't mean the Patriots can't win. It just means they need to play good defense. They need to run the ball well, and they need to do well on special teams, something they haven't done lately. But I think between the two quarterbacks, you got to have more faith in Josh Allen than Mac Jones in this game.
This Saturday night, 8:15 p.m. kickoff. They get the primetime slot, and it's good. Round 3 between the Bills and Patriots. Winner moves on. The loser, of course, goes home. Dakota, appreciate you always joining me, brother.
Thank you.